here at NAMM on the Line 6 booth with Andy, who's going to show us this new Pod Go, which is not red, it's not kidney shaped, but it is a pod, and I believe it's got a lot of cutting edge technology in it. So how does this differ from something like an HX Stomp?
Well, that's a great question. So really a pod is meant for a different end user than an HX Stomp, where HX is meant to go onto a paddleboard and be part of a larger rig. Helix is meant to be kind of its own rig, like a standalone rig, or be part of a much bigger rig. This is really meant to be on its own. And so you'll notice when we do have more foot switches, we do have the expression pedal, and we have a streamlined I/O in the back. So it's not going to have quite the I/O set, or but with the expression pedal, makes it a different product than HX. Also, the signal path is much simpler than on HX. Here we have a serial signal path. We're going to have things that are auto-loaded for us for the more traditional guitar player in mind. So it makes life easier for beginners, intermediates, or people who just don't need a lot of things. Whereas HX is a very kind of a open palette. You can put in whatever you want. You can do things like parallel paths or multiple amps, which you won't need to be able to do on this.
Right. But there is still some flexibility in how you route things through here, isn't there?
Absolutely. So all of the amp models and effects models are actually taken from the HX family of modelers, with the exception of 2 drive pedals and delay, which just wouldn't fit. But so all of the actual sounds are going to be very familiar to HX or Helix users. The difference is how they can be laid out. But you're right, you do have the flexibility of that. So for example, if I want to grab anything, I can just hit the action button and I can move things over and place it just like you would with a traditional guitar amps. With pedals, you could move a pedal around, plug it in.
Right, so if you're one of these guys who likes to stack 2 overdrive units, you can do that. And if you want to put your, say, modulation pedal before your overdrive, you can do that.
Absolutely, yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, so it's got basically all the flavour of a Helix without the complexity. It's kind of stripped back to what you would need in a typical gig.
It just depends on what the player needs, but you're right. I think for most players who are beginners or intermediate players or pro-level players who are used to a more traditional interface, I think this will be a great option for them.
So what is the maximum number of processing blocks that will run at the same time?
Sorry?
What's the maximum number of processing blocks that run at the same time?
Oh, good question. So you're going to have 5 blocks that are going to be always on. So that's going to be volume and wah, amp, cab, or IR. We can load impulse responses on this. You're going to have EQ and then an effects block. And then you'll have 4 slots that you can put in whatever you want. So you could have a couple of delay pedals or a couple overdrive pedals, something like that.
Well, that seems plenty to me. So that remains the question of shipping and price.
Sure. So for the shipping, this is going to be showing up in stores. Earliest would be early April. But depending on where you live in the world, it may be closer to late April, early May. As far as price, that's also dependent on where you live in the world and what your currency rate is. But in the US, it'll be $449 USD.
Seems good. I can't wait to try one. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.